And National Games Week sees more tourists visiting the city. Hong Kong recorded some 990,000 tourists visiting the city over the course of the SAR's hosting of the National Games, and around 720,000 of them came from the mainland. The latest figures saw a weekly growth of close to 100,000. That's an increase of 14%. Scenes at the Fanling Golf Course were relatively void of spectators during the National Games, with excited crowds like this being a rarity. But many of those who made their way to the golf course were from the mainland. This Hunan tourist says she intends to stay in the city for 4 days and expects to travel to Macau to watch a table tennis match and spend around a couple $1,000s during her trip. As one of the primary hosting locations of this year's National Games, Hong Kong is responsible for hosting 8 events, including golf, rugby sevens, handball, and fencing. This visitor, who came all the way from Shanghai, said he looked forward to watching the fencing bouts and expects to spend around $18,000 here for tickets, hotels, and food. On the starting day of the National Games, Hong Kong recorded over 100,000 mainland visitors entering the city. The figure grew to some 720,000 between that day and the 15th of this month, which is a weekly growth of 14%. This as the tourism sector said the figures reached earlier estimates, adding that hotels throughout Kowloon City and To Kwa Wan were entirely full over the past week, with most guests coming from central and northern China. Speaking on the tourism boom, Hong Kong Tourism Association Executive Director Timothy Chui said these visitors are mostly staying for more than a single night, and that many in this sector receive tourist requests to help plan their itineraries in the city. Noting the positive shift in the tourism economy, Chui said tourism agencies saw a boost in business of around 5 to 8%. Reaction to Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's recent remarks on Taiwan is heating up. One academic said it is an act of aggression towards China and exposes an ambition to revive Japanese militarism, while Beijing said it has conducted patrols near the disputed Diaoyu Islands. On November 7th, Takaichi said in Parliament that a hypothetical attack on Taiwan by Beijing constitutes a survival-threatening situation for Japan that may require a military response. Nasbi Karim with more.
It marks the first time since Japan's surrender in 1945 that a Japanese leader has openly linked a Taiwan scenario to the exercise of self-defense, drawing strong condemnation from China. The National Defense Ministry said the remarks challenge the post-war international order and sends wrong signals to separatist forces in Taiwan. Liu Kuang-yu, an associate research fellow at the Institute of Taiwan Studies under the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, said a statement serves several purposes.
Takaichi's remarks at this juncture serve 3 primary objectives. First, demonstrate an extreme hardline stance of pro-Taiwan and anti-China, continuing to court and incite Japan's right-wing populists, amplifying domestic anti-China sentiment. And second, exploiting the hype surrounding so-called intervention in the Taiwan Strait to advance the lifting of restrictions and expansion of Japan's collective self-defense rights, as well as long-term political ambition to breach the peace constitution and revive Japanese militarism.
Even some Japanese media outlets criticized the Prime Minister. Japan's Asahi Shimbun posted an article saying Takaichi's remarks were deviating from a predecessor's remarks. South Korea's Kyunghang Shinmun published a commentary saying Takaichi is provoking neighboring countries. It added that the international community has been wary of a rise. The China Coast Guard said one of its ship formations conducted a patrol within the Diaoyu Islands, claimed by both countries, saying it was a lawful operation to uphold its rights and interests. The Education Ministry issued an overseas study alert for Japan, urging Chinese nationals to carefully consider plans to study in the country because of the growing security risks. Earlier, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and its officers in Japan urged Chinese citizens to avoid traveling to the country, citing recent rising attacks on Chinese nationals. Even Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning, on her personal social media account, pointed out that Japan in 1972 officially recognized the government of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi was considering reviewing the country's long-standing 3 non-nuclear principles, almost certain to draw backlash, according to Kyodo News. Last revised into 2022, Takaichi is mulling changing the 3rd principle, prohibiting nuclear weapons from entering Japan's territory. If revised, it is a significant shift in security policy and is certain to draw domestic and international backlash, the report said. The 3 principles of not possessing, not producing, and not allowing nuclear weapons into Japanese territory were first declared in 1967. While Takaichi has no intention of revising the first 2 principles, she believes the 3rd principle could hinder port calls by U.S. nuclear-armed vessels, the report said. And still ahead, U.S. Border Patrol agents in operation in a new city. The Pope meets with film stars to celebrate the joy of movies. And young Hong Kong explorer shares his experience about glaciers and climate change. Welcome back. U.S. federal officials have confirmed that a surge of immigration enforcement has begun in Charlotte, North Carolina's largest city. Agents were seen making arrests in multiple locations. This as local officials, including the city's mayor, have criticized the actions, saying that they are causing unnecessary fear and uncertainty. Tracy Furness has more.
Cell phone footage capturing Customs and Border Protection officers stopping a car in Charlotte, North Carolina. Willie Assetino, who is inside the car, telling them, if you break it, you will pay for it. If you break my window. The federal officer then opens the car door to drag Willie out. Willie then shows the damage inside the car after the encounter. Willie says 2 times in 10 minutes they stopped me, entering the restaurant, and when I came out with food the second time. The second time they didn't have any benevolence at all. I told them I was an American citizen. He says my neck hurts really bad right now because they grabbed me, adding, I don't have a car now. Protesters marching in Charlotte holding flags and signs against federal immigration enforcement in their city.
Border Patrol being here is really going to affect how we live on a day-to-day basis, we're going to be living in fear, constant fear that one day one of us might not come home.
To me, it felt like the people here were very motivated to fight back against this attack on our community, against our city. It's an uphill battle, but it's a battle that needs to be had, and I'm very happy to see the energy and the amount of people who are out here. And we're going to win. I'm confident we will.
Local officials, including Charlotte Mayor V. Lyles, are criticizing arrests made by federal officers, saying residents are reporting agents seeking to arrest people outside businesses and restaurants. Observers say they have seen an increase in stops by U.S. Customs and Border Protection and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents since Friday. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Iran's foreign minister said today that Tehran is no longer enriching uranium at any site in the country. At a summit in Tehran, Abbas Araghchi also said that the United States is not ready for negotiations based on mutual benefits. This after the U.S. earlier this year bombed Iran's nuclear facilities during the 12-day war with Israel.
There is no undeclared nuclear enrichment facility in Iran. All of our facilities are under the safeguard and monitoring of the agency. There is no enrichment right now because our enrichment facilities have been attacked. And our message is clear. Iran's right for enrichment, for peaceful use of nuclear technology, including enrichment, is undeniable. We have this right, and we continue to exercise that. And we hope that the international community, including the United States, recognize our rights and understand that this is an inalienable right of Iran, and we would never give up our rights.
Pope Leo XIV has welcomed an array of Hollywood luminaries to a special Vatican audience to celebrate cinema and its ability to inspire and unite. The Pope encouraged the filmmakers and celebrities gathered in a frescoed Vatican audience hall to use their art to include marginal voices, calling film a popular art in the noblest sense, intended for and accessible to all. Tracy Furness has more.
The encounter, organised by the Vatican's Culture Ministry, followed similar audiences Pope Francis had in recent years with famous artists and comedians. It is part of the Vatican's effort to reach out beyond the Catholic Church to engage with the secular world. The gathering also seemed to have particular meaning for history's first American Pope, who grew up in the heyday of Hollywood. The 70-year-old saying this week his favourite films include It's a Wonderful Life, The Sound of Music and Ordinary People. In a speech, he acknowledged the film industry and cinemas around the world were experiencing a decline, the theatre's once important social and cultural meeting points disappearing from neighbourhoods. Greeting the pontiff after the speech, actress Cate Blanchett, who gave him a UNHCR bracelet. Director Spike Lee, who gave the pontiff a New York Knicks jersey with Pope Leo XIV on it. Also greeting the Pope, actor Viggo Mortensen and actress Greta Gerwig.
His Holiness's words today were a real charge not to shy away from difficult, painful stories. And he was talking about tears that often people are unable to shed in their everyday life, as well as laughter, you know, that often happens in the cinema. So he really urged us to go back into our day jobs and inspire people and create those spaces.
He was very laid back. You know, he had a fantastic message of beauty in cinema. I think it was his main topic, and you know, the effect of a story in relation to like human kindness and hope.
It was surprised to me that I was invited. So I've been to Rome many times, but the first time in the Vatican City and the first time meeting the Pope. So it was a great day,
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro criticized the U.S. as well as Trinidad and Tobago for conducting joint naval exercises. Government supporters marched through the streets of Caracas before attending a rally led by Maduro. Maduro denounced the drills as irresponsible, saying that they are intended to be threatening to a republic like Venezuela. He said the joint exercises are aimed at destabilizing his government. During the event, Maduro praised the former Beatles member John Lennon's songs about peace and started singing parts of his song Imagine. Professor David Hui, chair professor of respiratory medicine at CUHK, warned that flu activity may rise again with the weather turning more chilly this week. Hui noted that viruses become more active during low temperatures. He added that people afraid of the cold will move indoors, where ventilation is poorer, especially in schools and elderly care homes. On top of that, he said the current H3N2 strain has undergone an antigenic drift with high transmissibility. But he said the current vaccine is still able to protect against hospitalization and severe disease. Today is Senior Citizens Day. Seniors in the city enjoy a series of perks, including free rides on public transport and special discounts at some 3,800 restaurants and shops. Crowds can be seen at the Peak Tram Central Terminus this morning. Seniors aged 65 or above who hold a Joyu card or an Elder Octopus card can ride the Peak Tram for free. Most routes on the MTR, KMB, Longwind Bus, New Lantau Bus, and City Bus are also free for the elderly. They can also enjoy free trams and the Star Ferry. Hong Kong polo explorer Wilson Cheung Wai Yin has been named as one of the world's top 10 outstanding young persons this year for his 15 years of glacier research. Witnessing climate crisis firsthand, he noted glaciers are melting at an alarming rate. Samantha Lee spoke with the adventurer.
Icebergs crumbling from glaciers in Greenland. Polar bears no longer hunting on sea ice, but seen searching for food on land. Temperatures rise, net appears. At the South Pole, warm and moist air brought unusual rainfall. Newborn penguins struck by a typical snowstorm. But these are just the tip of the iceberg. Over the years, Wilson Cheung Wai Yin has embarked on his scientific expedition alongside climate change experts and glaciologists from around the world in the Arctic, Antarctica, and the Himalayas.
In our decade, we may see that they will lose half of the ice mass in Canadian Arctic. And moreover that, for instance, in Switzerland, in the Alps or in Himalaya, most of the mountain glacier, actually they will disappear in 2050. So which will impact all the water resources, and moreover that all the agriculture which rely on the fresh water from the glacier.
Born to a working-class family, Chen lived in temporary housing without air conditioning when he was young. So he went to the public library often, where he gained a lot of knowledge.
Glacier is telling us a story. If you're patient enough and you have knowledge enough to read the story, and they do tell you all the story from the Earth system that you never learned before.
From the Hong Kong grassroots to the Earth's polar regions, Chen seizes every opportunity to explore the world. During college years, he first set foot in the Antarctica on a tour. After graduation, he worked in a mountain hunt in Switzerland, where he learned mountaineering and skiing. He then earned a PhD in glaciology in Canada. In 2022, he was recognized as one of the world's top 50 influential explorers, the first in Asia. This year, he was further honored among the world's top 10 outstanding young persons. He said his scientific expedition will not end with his return to Hong Kong. He will share what he saw, learned, and experienced in the journey at different schools to inspire more Hong Kongers to pursue careers in polar work. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
And tonight's Mark 6 numbers are 2, 11, 13, 28, 38, 47. The extra number is 7. And that's the news. A reminder that tomorrow's main news will start at 9 p.m. Join us then.